How do you lead an organization that's expected to change the world but operates with a fraction of the resources of a typical business? It's a daunting task, isn't it? Well, rise and shine leaders. This is Glen Guyton, keynote speaker and workplace trainer. Welcome to our executive coffee break. I've got my beverage in hand. I hope you have yours too. They say you can't choose your family, but you can choose your workplace culture and your beverage. Today I'm drinking coffee. Leadership matters, so you might as well get good at it. Well, one of the most significant challenges you face as a nonprofit executive is funding. I know I've been there, I've led a number of nonprofit organizations, and we know funding is the lifeblood of your mission, but it's often one of the most unpredictable things that you have to deal with as a leader. So here's the deal: to navigate this, the funding challenge, focus on diversifying your funding sources. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. And remember, every dollar saved in operational efficacy is a dollar you can put toward your mission. So let's innovate our approach to budgeting. That's really important. Innovating our approach to budgeting, exploring grants, even corporate sponsorships, and really taking advantage of digital fundraising strategies. So one of the big things is we think about funding for nonprofits, which is always a challenge. And just going back to my first point about budgeting, leaders, you have to budget. Nonprofit doesn't mean that you need to lose money. Hear me again. Nonprofit doesn't mean that you need to lose money or that you waste money or that you don't budget properly. Yeah, we depend on grants, and we want corporate sponsorships, other kind of sponsorships. We want to uh, get in contact with our donors and have them fund our programs, but we also have to budget. It doesn't mean that you can't have something left at the end of the year. Now, I know some people have a budgeting sense where if you get grants, you have to spend it all or you lose it. But there are some creative ways uh, to stretch that money or stretch other funds. We're not going to get into that, but try to have a reserve for those rainy days as you budget. But one of the big things that we want to think about as uh, nonprofit executives is donor engagement. In today's digital age, personal connections mean more than ever. Some of the things that you can do in regards to donor engagement: have a good CRM. If you don't know what a CRM is, you're already behind the power curve. Some of you may still have your Rolodex. If you're operating on a Rolodex in 2024, that is a problem. You need a tool, a customer relations management tool, software to help you engage your donors in this day and age, uh, especially this digital age, when people are on social media. Utilize the different tools that you have to tell stories. Tell stories to share the impact of your work. That is so important. If you have this great mission, if you are changing the world, which most nonprofits are trying to do, something good, something fantastic, something that makes the world better, show your donors the change that their contributions can make. And don't forget about the power of social proof. You need testimonials and you need case studies, and you need to get those stories out in order to build trust and let donors know that the dollars that they give to you, that they matter, that your cause isn't just talk, but it's really impacting the lives of people. And that's a great opportunity for you and social media to show what you're doing. And of course, there may be some privacy things that you have to be mindful of, but uh, keeping those things in mind, get your story out, get testimonials, have people sharing the good work that you are doing. It doesn't have to go viral, but it does have to have meaningful engagement with with those that want to support you and the good work that you do. Another aspect of fundraising or funding that you need to think about as a nonprofit leader is volunteer management. Say that with me again. Volunteer management. Managing volunteers effectively is crucial. They are the heart and soul of your operations in the nonprofit world. Invest in training programs that not only equip them with the skills they need, but also foster a sense of belonging and purpose. Remember, a well supported volunteer is your best ambassadors. And volunteers are a way to really connect with diverse communities. Volunteers will be the ones that tell the stories, that will tell those heart stories uh, for your donors, and even get your donors to volunteer. Some of them may want to lend a helping hand. I do encourage soliciting donations from volunteers. They provide a critical role. They may not be your top tier donors, but they understand better than anyone the impact that's going on. Uh, treat them well. Treat your volunteers well. You need dedicated people to nurture your volunteer base. Uh, don't cheap out on your volunteers. Get them trained. Uh, get them some vests or some uniforms or some armbands or something to help them really feel like they are a part of the work that's going on in the organization, because they are a crucial part of the work. Don't take your volunteers for granted. Treat them well. Treat them well. I can't emphasize that enough. Make sure that they are. If you're out working somewhere where it's hot, make sure they have hats. Make sure they have food, water, all the things they need to keep them going. So treat your volunteer well. Make sure you have volunteers to serve volunteers. That's really key. Next, adapting to digital transformation. That's another big thing that I think is important in this day and age as we look at funding your nonprofit. Embrace the new technologies that are out there. Digital transformation is not just a buzzword. It's your ticket to efficacy and to scaling. Automate where you can and use technology to streamline operations. And this frees up your team to focus on what truly matters, your mission. There are many things that you can use. Chat GPT. Again, have a good CRM to automate your connections with your donors. These things don't have to be intensive, and so you can actually make your staff more efficiency. You may even be able to reduce the size of your staff, reduce your overhead, while at the same time ramping up uh, your your ability to do your mission, right? Ramping up your capability. That's what we want to do. We want to increase capacity while at the same time we are scaling back on the expenses that we have, the administrative expenses. No one wants to just give to administration, right? We want to give to the mission. That's really one of the key things when we think about nonprofit organizations. People want to give to making that story happen, the story that you're telling, and you can even use technology now to tell that story in a better way. Where it used to take hours and days and weeks to get a story out, you can do that in minutes. You can do it on your phone. You can edit things on the go, on the fly. You can show your donors what's going on real time. Imagine if you're having a virtual campaign, a virtual financing campaign. You can share stories real time with what's going on in your organization, how you how you're making a difference, and get people to take pictures for you. Get people to uh, give testimonies while things are happening in real time. So think about that. Think about how you can leverage some of the new digital tools, and there's so many out there. I can't share all of them with you, but there are so many different tools out there that you can use that will help you tell your story, that will help you run your operations more efficiently, and you can get your staff doing other things, things that are really impacting the lives of people or whoever your nonprofit serves. And again, tracking people, having people connect with one another. I know when I first started with uh, doing some nonprofit work, we had radios. Everybody had to have radios and earpieces. We had to rent those things. They weren't that costly, but they did cost. It was an extra cost that we had to pay. But now, what everybody uses their cell phone. We can text people. We can use uh, WhatsApp. We can use group me. There are so many different tools that you can use to connect with people, to coordinate your volunteers, and it just makes life a lot easier, and even it increases safety. I think this digital transformation has allowed us to be safer. You can even put air tags on your volunteers if you want to, if you need to track them, if they're doing volunteer work in some maybe rural areas. But hey, use whatever you can, but embrace this technology. And then finally, one of the things that I do want to talk about is just measuring impact. How do you measure the impact of your work? Uh, in the end, your work's value is defined by the change you create. Right? Hopefully, that's why you're in the nonprofit world. Otherwise, you'd be somewhere making a ton of money. But you want to make a change, right? You want to make a change. Develop clear, measurable objectives, and this not only helps in reporting to stakeholders, but also guides your strategic decisions. And I like the OKR format. It doesn't really matter what format you use as long as you stick to it and it's clear, that you have some SMART goals. You want your goals to be specific, you know, measurable. You want to have a time component to the goals that you have. Let people know that you really are doing something. You can't track everything, but you should be tracking the key aspects of your work. Have a time for some strategic planning where you sit down and say, "Hey, these are the things, the overarching objectives of our organization. These are the things that we want to do. We want to increase donations by 30% by the end of the fiscal year. We want to recruit 10% more volunteers, or we want more diverse volunteers." Figure out the things that are important to your mission, write them down. And these are things that you can also share with your stakeholders, your donors, the things that you can share with the community. uh, One of the things about nonprofits and 501c organizations is that there is a lot of them now. There are so many nonprofits, and so there's a lot of competition for those dollars, right? Competitions for those dollars and for those donors. And so, how do you get the eyeballs to your work? Well, one thing I will say, just do meaningful work. Uh, because even though there are a lot of people out there, if you do meaningful work, you will capture the attention of people who care about the work that you're doing. Some people care about the ethical treatment of animals. Some people care about uh, the unhoused. Some people care about food deserts and food insecure people. Some people come from a religious standpoint. So there are many different donors who care about different things, but you have to show why you are making an impact on the thing that you have folks excuse me, that you've designed your mission around. So make sure that you are really clear about what you're doing, the things that you're accomplishing, and just let people know, hey, we set out to do X and we did X, or we fell a little short this year, but we were really close. You can help us get across the goal line. You can help us get to that next level. The work that you do, volunteering, or the finances that you have will help us close the gap. This is the gap that we have. We need you to help us close the gap. So even if you don't achieve your goals, by the simple fact that you can measure your goals and tell people how far you fell short, that will help you be a better organization. But you have to be able to articulate that. Donors want to see it. I know when I donate money, I want to see what difference are you really making. Is this money being used in the best way? Is my time being used in the best way? Or are you just another fly by night nonprofit? So hopefully, if you are watching this, you have a good sized nonprofit, you are making a significant impact, but you just need to do a little bit better. Just doing a little bit better. So here is the challenge for you uh, this week. I talked about a couple of things. We want to make sure that you're budgeting well. That's first and foremost. Budget well, run your organization efficiently. Two, make sure you are engaging with donors in the right way. Make sure you're taking care of your volunteers. Is that number three? Make sure you're taking care of your volunteers. Number four, adapting to this new digital era, utilizing the digital tools to make you more efficient. And then number five, we want to measure the impact of what we're doing. Have some SMART goals, some measurable goals. Do some strategic planning so that people know how well you are doing when it comes to your mission. So my challenge for you today is to Pick one area that we discussed today and develop a small action plan to tackle it in the coming weeks. So start with just what's the next step? What's the next one thing I have to do? That's the beginning of it. Share your commitments in the comments below, and I'd love to hear how you plan to bring about positive change in your organization. Feel free to reach out to me. I'm Glen Guyton. And so let's not forget, as we close, the strength and perseverance that it takes to lead with empathy and inclusivity. Better leaders get better results. So, to every one of you leading the charge for a more supportive and engaging workplace, I leave you with this: stay bold, stay inspired, and remember that your actions today shape the culture of tomorrow. You all have a wonderful rest of your day.